Hey friends, welcome to Above the Fold podcast. I'm your host, Jess Servion. We're going to be talking about everything in your customer's journey. You're going to learn things about customer experience, brand experience, and marketing secrets that help you drive your brand success. So stay tuned, buckle up, and let's get into the episode.
This week, I'm super excited to bring my friend Lucy Samuel, who is the copywriter at the Bouqs, but also, side note, my homegirl, and we used to be roommates and when I lived in Los Angeles before we were ever in e-commerce, right?
Yep, a past life. Yeah.
I know. It's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Lucy, tell the peeps who you are.
I'm a copywriter with a comedy background. So I started out, I have training in sketch comedy, I have training in stand-up. I just did comedy for a really long time, and then I sort of transitioned into copywriting in the e-com marketing space. So I come at it with a background of comedy and trying to keep it funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Funny for brands.
Yeah, always looking for brands that want that edge for sure.
Well, okay, so how did you end up, I would love to dive into this because especially for the purpose of this podcast is very about customer experience, but the journeys of customer experience, right? And you have actually a background in CX. You used to work in CX at TomboyX. So yeah. Love to hear your journey into copywriting.
Yeah. So I obviously had that comedy background and just a writing background in general. I've always been a writer. And I sort of fell into this job doing customer support at TomboyX, which is a queer fashion brand that I love forever. And they hired me. It was, during the pandemic, I was really needing a job and I had a little bit of experience in customer support. So they hired me to that. But from day one, I was just I'm a writer. You guys have to trust me. I'm a writer. I can do that job. They didn't have a copywriter in-house. They were just working with agencies. And I was I really think, you guys need an in-house copywriter. And I really think I'm the dude for the job.
It is me.
It is. And it should be me. And it worked. You're the squeaky wheel when it comes to what you want.
Yeah.
And luckily I had a friend who was a little higher up at the company who really advocated for me and really helped me transition into that role. And then that's where I found my footing with marketing copy and learning that side of the business.
Yeah.
And it just kicked off.
Yeah. So when you were at TomboyX or just honestly any brand, talk to me a little bit about how copywriting falls or helps brand voice building. Because fun fact, actually, and we've completely forgotten about this, when I started Feastables, you wrote the copy for our original chatbot.
That's right. That was a fun project. That was a very silly project.
Yeah. But you wrote that copy, right? And so you actually were the catalyst of developing out that customer experience brand voice for Feastables even. So I'd love to hear just the importance of good copy and brand voice from you.
Yeah. I'm super passionate about that. I mean, coming from a background as a writer, your brand voice is to me just as important an arm of your business as your visuals and your design. It supports every channel, right? So as an in-house copywriter, I'm supporting retention marketing, I'm writing product descriptions, I'm writing display ads. Everything you see on the internet that comes from this brand is written by me. And so you want that to be cohesive. You don't want to be sending out marketing emails that sound nothing like the copy that's on your website. And you want all of that to tie back to the brand and the original brand, the way that it was built and the vision that somebody had for that brand.
Yeah.
So it's really important to have, I think it's really important to have somebody on board who understands the brand and can see those opportunities to elevate it while keeping it all super cohesive. So that when that brand talks to you, you recognize it. You're this is the Bouqs that's talking to me right now.
Yeah.
I've seen their ads or I've seen their CTV spot. It all ties together. So
yeah, and
you
then
start to feel you know it,
No, absolutely. And I think it's in everything, and it's in the entire journey, everything from acquisition to retention to customer support. And I think that cohesiveness is really important. In your experience, because on this podcast, we do talk about bad experiences.
Oh boy.
I would love to hear, and bad experiences, we don't name drop the brands, only good experiences. We're only about gassing people up, not ruining them. I'd love to hear what do you think some brands do badly in their copy?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I can think of, obviously the most obvious answer is just copy editing. Even if you don't have an in-house copywriter, please don't send me an email with typos and grammar errors in it. I know that might not matter to everyone, but it matters to some people, myself included. And when I see that, it just changes my perception of the brand so drastically.
Absolutely though, right?
Yeah. Who is this person?
Like,
Who's
why
this
did you
person trying
do
to sell me
that?
a product? Why would I give them my
Ugh,
money?
I get so mad about it. Yeah.
Such a pet peeve.
I
But
know.
yeah, I mean, I think bad. I'm trying to think if there's like another answer for that other than just like get the
bad.
language right.
Yeah. I think it's get the language right. I think it's a little bit of like, obviously, the brand voice. I mean, well, I think it's really interesting too, because not every brand has a copywriter.
Mhm.
And I actually see like that cohesion can happen for sure, like with the brand voice. But what I do see is that sometimes the marketing team, just the marketing team, is coming up with the copy for the emails
That's
or the
very
SMS.
common, yeah.
And then like the CX team is like has its own voice, and there's no like real brand guideline. One of the things that I do with any sort of like consulting or advising or freelancing I do in like the CX space, that's actually the first thing I look at is like, what are your customer personas? And then I'm like, where's your brand guidelines?
Yeah. Ideally, if you can have a brand copywriter or the brand copywriter writing the shortcuts for the CX team,
Yes.
I think that's a great move.
Yeah, I mean that actually, let's dive into that a little bit further, because that was going to be my next question is like, so if you have if let's say there's a brand that doesn't have copy, right? Like what would your suggestion be or a copywriter, right? What would your suggestion be to even like starting that brand voice? Like, I'm not saying like sell out your job by any means, but like what's step one?
I mean, I think it comes from having solid branding at the outset, a solid brand book. Like
Mhm.
ideally, if you're starting a brand,
book. Yep.
it's in your heart what you want it to look like. You're not just like, I'm going to sell hats. It's like, I'm going to sell hats and this is who I am and this is what our website's going to look like. And that brand book should include a whole section on voice, whether that's just like examples from other brands that you think do it really well. And it can always change in the future, but like there should be some thought given to that in the beginning, I think. And if there's not, get on it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a brand, when I look at like e-commerce, whether it's like a deodorant or if it's like a meat stick, right? Okay, literally like
Meat stick,
these-
absolutely.
These are literally brands, and I've like advised you on. Okay. Like, so this is why these examples are like coming out.
Right.
But like the meat stick brand, dog, like it was the person who created it had like a very distinctive voice, right? And I think that was really important, but there was no brand guidelines. They just were like,
Winging it.
let's go. And we're like, what?
Somebody write this down, because there needs to be a Bible, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're not going to go in-house and you're going to be hiring copywriters through agencies or contractors
Yes.
or freelancers. You need to have something you can hand them to be like, this is what we say, this is what we don't say, these are the kinds of jokes we make, this is the kind of thing that our customers are not into.
Yeah.
So that you can onboard someone quickly. Like,
So I just actually want to laugh about this one more time, though, the meat sticks.
okay.
One of the words we had to like look out for was if somebody commented meat or beef on a social post.
You had alerts for that?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Because then they would be like entered into like a giveaway.
That's really funny.
I know, right? And so you're writing these rules of like, look out for the word meat, beef.
Probably everyone.
Where's the beef? You know? It's so weird, right? And then, I mean, like, I don't know. But the point is, though, is like, that's the thing, though. That like develops like the personality of the brand, right? Like meat and beef have to do with that, right? Or then the emojis you start using.
Right.
This beef emoji.
Right. Yeah.
It's really gross now that I think about it.
Yeah, if you think about it, I mean, I feel like you can, at least I can tell as someone who's worked in marketing for a while, when I look at my email inbox,
Yeah.
I feel like I can tell which companies have in-house
Yeah.
solid brand voice and which ones don't. Because
Yeah.
it's like, there's certain brands where like every time you get an email from them, you're like, that's them. Like those are my homie. Like, I don't know if I can shout out like a brand that I think
Yeah,
does it
of
really
course.
well, but like
Yeah.
Reformation,
Oh, yeah.
their emails are so specifically Reformation. And at this point, like every other brand in that space wants to emulate them because they're
Yeah.
doing it so well.
Yeah.
There's an underwear brand that I get emails from.
Me
called-
undies?
No, it's a really small brand called Cheek Boss.
Mm.
I don't know anything about the brand except that every single subject line that they send me has like 1,000 emojis in it,
Yeah.
which is like annoying, but it's also like, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
That's got to be in their brand book.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm
like
sure there's a line
the
in their
level
brand
of
book
the
that's
amount
like,
of emojis you use or the words or like all of that. Man, I'm trying to think of the word. I can only think of like the worst experiences because I am a CX person at the end of the day. But there is one beauty brand that I've been on their list and like, dog.
bad copy.
Not only bad copy, it was like, buy now, save now, 20% off, right? And like literally the amount of times of day they were in my inbox was so excessive. I'm talking 3 to 5 times a day. And I'm like, listen.
That's a dance for sure.
Yeah, but also your email marketers need to learn some segmentation, my dudes.
Oh, right.
You know?
Yeah.
Like
it's really an art.
Like if I'm not opening this, maybe don't send it to me 5 times.
Again. Yeah.
You know?
I know.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like that's part of the job of being a copywriter is like learning how to annoy people in a way that's not going to make them hate you.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm popping into people's inboxes probably more than they want me to. So I have to figure out a way to do that. That's not like offensive.
Yeah. Do you write any SMS copy?
I do. Yeah. I write all the SMS.
How does your SMS copy vary to email?
It's pretty similar. Really, the biggest difference is just the character count. So like
Yeah.
I'll write the copy for the email. Usually it's like in the same project. So like I'll write the copy for an email and then I'll just like throw in the SMS copy.
Yeah.
And I have to trim it down to like 110 characters, take out the emojis because they're expensive.
I know, right?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. But I feel like with SMS, there's a little bit of opportunity to be a little more playful.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Do you look at any data when you're writing copy?
Mhm.
Like to see like what are your favorite metrics?
I really only work with open rates.
Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Everything else sort of happens after I'm done with my
Yeah.
job.
You're like, cool.
Yeah.
I'm good.
So I look at like, you know, I'll look at like a season. Like we just finished up our Valentine's Day season, which in the floral industry is like the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll look at like for the Valentine's Day season, what were the most opened emails and
Yeah.
then use that to inform next
Do
year.
you do A/B testing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Sometimes
Segment.
I'll like pitch. Yeah. I know, just so that we're not emailing everyone all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We definitely, that's a big part of the business.
Yeah. Okay. I have a question for you because I actually had another copywriter on the pod from Dr. Squatch, but it's like it's a totally different voice, right? Like that's like more of a male voice
Yeah.
versus like a floral voice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you think, like, I'm curious for you in particular, where do you think you can take risks in your copy that doesn't jeopardize customer experience?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, it starts with A/B testing.
Yeah.
Anytime there's like something that I think is a big swing that I want to try,
Yeah.
and when we say big swing, keep in mind we're talking about marketing flowers. There are no huge swings here. But like when I first joined my current position, all of our email subject lines were title case. So the first letter of every word was capitalized.
Yeah, go ahead.
And I was like, when I get an email with that in the subject line, I immediately think it's spam
Yeah.
or really dated. It's little things you don't think about like that necessarily, but as a
Yeah.
copywriter, I'm like, I'm not liking this. And so I was new to the company, but I was like, I think we need to start putting our subject lines in lowercase. And we tested into it and I was right because I'm perfect. But like, you know, I think when it comes to taking risks in marketing, obviously you want to test it and not just like
Absolutely.
throw something ridiculous out there and just put all your weight behind it.
Yeah. I remember starting Feastables and like for like email marketing and like SMS, whatever, and like even social, we would get like yelled at if we were like writing in caps or using big words. Not
Really?
caps, I'm sorry, like capitalizations. I wouldn't say yelled at. Like yelled at sounds like really terrible.
But like
It wasn't
scolded.
like yeah, it wasn't like because that's not the voice though,
Mhm.
right? Like most like a Gen Z even, I would say like younger people, right? Not even Gen Z, like millennials too, like really what speaks to us is lowercase, which doesn't
it's just so
seem
silly.
right.
I know.
Like instead of saying you're saying you're, like
Yeah.
what you are, you know?
It's because our formative years were on instant messenger.
Yes.
That's where I learned to talk.
Oh my
Like,
God, you're
as-
absolutely
internet
right.
Talk, you know. Yeah.
I know. LOL.
That's where I was first marketed to.
Yeah. God, we are that generation.
I
That's
know.
so wild.
It's crazy.
I know. So, can we go back to improv?
Sure.
What's your favorite thing about writing for improv and
Well,
comedy?
writing for sketch comedy. I never
Yeah.
improv doesn't have writing. 'cause
How do you
it's
do that,
improvised.
man?
Writing for sketch?
Yeah.
Well, I took a couple classes.
Oh, okay,
At the
good.
Pack Theater here in Hollywood.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a great place, which maybe doesn't exist anymore, actually. But yeah, you just learn, like, you take anything that sounds funny to you and you learn how to, like, make a game out of it, and you learn, like, the beats of a sketch. There's going to be, like, the joke and then heightening the joke and then heightening it again, and then something funny happens at the end and it's over. And you just do it and do it and do it until you start getting good at it.
What? So it's like a journey.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
I just got back into comedy writing, like, this past month.
I know. Are you excited?
So I'm really excited.
Tell them who you're writing for.
I'm writing for a friend who is putting on it's sort of a one-woman show, but she's got some supporting comedians on stage with her, and it's called Comedy Taylor's Version. And it's a comedy show about Taylor Swift in the structure of a football game. So try to wrap your head around that.
What a journey.
But it's funny, and I'm writing for it, and it's fun.
Oh my God. That's amazing. God, that's so fun. I love when like a brand, and I know I'm like flip-flopping back like to e-commerce, but like I love when a brand is like funny and not serious.
Same.
You know?
I think that's so important. And especially going back to like to our generation, if you're going to talk to me and try to sell me a product, like, please talk to me like a person.
I know.
Make me laugh a little bit.
I know. I think the other thing I really hate is getting like text messages or emails about like, oh, buy one, get one. I'm like, no. Do you like, I literally, there's another brand out there that like I bought a buy one, get one because I got on the Instagram ad, okay?
They got you to buy one, then you got one.
I did. I technically got 4 because I bought 2 and got 2 for free.
Jessica, this is on you.
I needed different styles.
Okay.
Like I need to vibe, okay?
Okay.
And so then I get it, but then before I even get the package, I'm getting more sales emails.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dogs.
That's not a great journey.
Oh.
If I buy something from you, I don't want to hear from you unless you're telling me it's on its way.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear from you as a brand. Like, I'm interested in those, what's the word I'm looking for? The journey emails, the series, the transactional series emails that are like your order's on its way.
Like Wonderment. Well, that's a tool, but like your order's on the way. Like, your transactional emails. I don't know why we were like thinking of a different name.
It's transactional.
It's literally transactional emails.
And even those, like, I don't need, like, some brands now, this is a tangent, I guess, but some brands will do like, we got your order's confirmed, we're packing up your order, we're shipping your order's still on the way. And it's like, I appreciate it because then I know you guys are still thinking about me, you didn't forget my order.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I need like 6 of those.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I actually am on the opposite end of it.
Really? You think more?
The reason I think maybe not more, but I like getting those emails. Like, listen, if I'm buying CPG through like a D2C company, just send me my chocolate, send me my drinks. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not tripping off of that. Like, I don't need all those emails. But let's say I'm buying like furniture or apparel.
Sure.
I actually do like seeing
especially if it's
those.
Delayed or something, you want to know it's still coming.
Yeah, because I also have this really toxic habit. Like
of tracking your order obsessively.
That, but also I'm gonna look straight at the camera when I say this. I have a toxic trait of I travel a lot because obviously I'm in Los Angeles. Right now I live in Chicago, okay, and like I do a lot of like speaking engagements or podcasts or this or that. So I'm like, I want a new outfit. But the toxic trait in me is I will buy it maybe a week before I'm supposed to leave, and then I pay extra in shipping. Right. So that's why I get so.
Then you do need those updates.
I do
need them because you're panicking.
I'm panicking.
They're helping you to not panic so
Yeah,
much.
I mean, honestly, I'm like 8 out of 10 times they do not arrive on time, and then I've just paid too much money.
Okay, so we need to just like back up our timeline a little bit.
Yeah,
start planning the outfits a little bit further out.
Yeah, maybe a month before. That would be cool. So you can have a try on. You know. A fun fact that the store that I told you that I got by the Instagram ad, right? And I bought the buy one get one twice.
So you got 4 products.
So I got 4 products. None of the products, they was all the wrong size. They were all too big. And so then I contacted customer support and I was like, how do I exchange these? Like, so I don't know how.
And I got one, and then I got another one. And
and then they're like, oh, don't worry, we'll send them to you. And I was like, oh, but I really need them before I left. Yeah, they didn't ship until the day I left. But wait, here's actually something really funny about that customer support journey. Not only did they like send me a new items. Remember, I got 4 items.
Mhm.
They only sent me 2.
Oh boy.
And
So the journey continues. We still have
so
to
I
talk.
6 items.
Yeah.
Like 4 I can't use. 2 maybe when I get home.
Was it expensive?
No.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I think that's why they be throwing out
Right.
this apparel.
I just, for the first time, I just made a purchase through TikTok yesterday.
Oh. How do you like that experience?
So it hasn't been shipped yet, but
Okay.
it is really easy. It's
I know.
crazy how easy it is to
I
buy
know.
something from a TikTok. This person is wearing this thing, and now it's on its way to my house within seconds.
I love that though.
Yeah.
I love that. But you know what, man? This really feeds instant gratification. It's
Yeah.
And like now as consumers, we're just like,
Well, that and sorry, but Amazon Prime, the Bezos boutique, giving you what you need within 24 hours.
yeah, it's really like changed our consumer behavior.
Yeah.
Like we have such high expectations.
Yeah.
now.
I'm not going to the mall.
Oh my God. Have you
When was the
gone
last
to
time you
a
went to
mall recently?
I have to go
Dude.
to a black tie wedding in a couple weeks.
Mm.
What are you supposed to do to go to a black tie wedding when you dress like this all the time? I'm not going to a mall to buy a gown.
But also, like, where do you even buy a gown?
I don't know.
Is it like Macy's?
Because you know why I don't know? Because TikTok isn't marketing gowns to me.
You should say that in your phone, like really close.
Yeah. Black
Gowns,
tie wedding.
gowns, black tie wedding. Yeah. Or text wedding to somebody like 100 different times,
Yeah.
then you'll get the right marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Affordable. I think I want to wear a suit. Affordable women's
Suit.
Text it to everyone I know and then see what happens with TikTok.
Yeah.
And then shop now. Buy now.
But like honestly, like where do you get this stuff? You know what I mean? Like you have to go on like a Google search journey. Let's talk about the customer journey.
Let's do it.
Of wedding attire, okay? So we don't go to malls anymore.
Mhm.
Like truly, we don't go to malls anymore. We have Amazon that like feeds us instant gratification, right? We have social that like our phones are listening to us. So we like so they like pick up on the things that we want, right? But then like actually, no, hold on. It is funny. So I am recently engaged and I'm getting married this year. And I have never in my life planned a wedding or looked at a wedding dress. Like
Right. It's not really you.
not really my thing, okay? Like I'm going to be real with you, right? So I started looking at things and Google searching and I literally was just like bridal boutique in Chicago?
Yeah.
Like I
Because
don't
you do need to go in person for this.
I know, but I'm so overwhelmed by that experience of
Yeah.
like because the on the flip side of it was like we don't know where to go, right? But not only that, I don't know how to like I don't really know what I need or what I want and I'm not like I'm so used to e-commerce that I
Right.
don't want to go in person.
Right.
You know?
And it's like, is there someone I can hire to just figure a stylist?
I
don't know.
literally have thought about this.
Yeah. Well, and it's like it's one of two things. Either it's a market that's new and doesn't really exist and you don't know where to find it. You don't know if you're like supposed to go to the mall or Google it or what. Or it's the wedding industry on the other hand,
Yeah.
which is so oversaturated.
Oh my God.
So I'm sure when you Google bridal boutique in Chicago,
Dude.
it's like all ads.
The most overwhelming thing on this planet, okay?
Yeah.
So I'm in my Google searches. Like I've seen that there's a couple of bridal boutiques by my house, but like to be honest with you, I ain't got no time.
Yeah.
I literally just want to order the dresses, try on the dresses, see if it works. But then like
It's
you're
the
not
whole
supposed
thing.
to
You
do
got to
that
go
in front
in,
of like
have
your
a glass of champagne.
It's-
All your female friends are there crying. It's like,
dude. All my female friends are like spread out around this country.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
can't
like,
make it to Chicago. For
I
that.
know. I know. That's the problem. Like, it's not even my female friends. It's like all of my friends are
Yeah.
spread out. So I'm very overwhelmed by the choices. But then, okay, we're not done on this consumer journey.
Yeah.
So then, because I'm Google searching so heavily, my Instagram is infiltrated with weddings. And I'm starting to get ads for bridal boutiques in other cities now. Girl.
Oh boy.
So I found a bridal boutique. I also found an influencer. First the journey was the influencer popped up on my For You page on Instagram, followed the influencer, found that she went to this bridal boutique in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So now in May, I have a trip to Pittsburgh because I couldn't go down the street to a bridal salon
And
because I'm
is that-
so overwhelmed.
And the effectiveness of it, correct me if I'm wrong, is that like you found someone who seemed to be doing what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? They seem to be wearing the thing you want to wear. And that speaks to you so much more than like any kind of bespoke experience. You're like, I would rather just do what she's doing, which is why I bought the jeans from TikTok yesterday. I would rather just do this picture that you're showing me than try to put into my GPS to go all around town
to go try to
have
find
options. I don't want it.
It's so crazy. Like, so going back, landing the plane to like what we're talking about here. The consumer journey is like so overly saturated that it's like so overwhelming. But not only that, we have such high expectations that it is like insane.
Yeah.
I'm so overwhelmed by having to purchase this dress. Like, I'm not going to lie. And then like also my friends, Alle, I know you're going to listen to this, but you're overwhelming me.
No, what did Alle do?
Because Alle has been like, girl, you got to go get that dress. It takes like 6 months because she's like in fashion, so she like knows, and I'm just so like.
And a wedding dress isn't the kind of thing you just grab off the rack.
I know.
Right. Yeah.
I literally am just gonna show up to my wedding in jeans, in my chambray shirt with my warrior shirt on. See, like,
would love that.
Anyway, I'm just so overwhelmed by the consumer journey of wedding planning.
Yeah, I'm sure it's like the best example of an impossible consumer journey.
I know, dude. I can't even imagine I can imagine the consumer journey of like the Bouqs, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like you order these flowers. I'm also overwhelmed by like having to pick a florist right now.
Well, we do weddings at the Bouqs company. So,
okay.
Consider it. I don't work in weddings at the Bouqs, but we do have weddings.
Just so you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So getting back on track, I actually want to ask you this question because I think I do ask about AI a lot in my podcast because it's like such a hot button topic, right? How do you think AI is like, how are you utilizing AI and how do you think it's going to change like your role?
Yeah. When it first became a thing, which was like a year and a half ago, I was like terrified because I was like, what is the point of a copywriter if a robot can do it?
Yeah.
And then I started using it, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
I have it open in my private browser when I'm at work. And there's no way that ChatGPT is anywhere near being able to do the job of a copywriter.
Yeah.
Which gives me relief. But I do use it for like really specific asks. So like I know I need puns about ranunculus, which is a flower.
I know what ranunculus is.
Sorry to mansplain. I need puns about ranunculus. Can you give me 10 of them? It's going to give me 10 things that are absolutely not usable, but there may be something in there that sparks something for me. So I use it for inspiration.
Yeah.
But it's not funny. It does not know how to be funny. Thank God.
It's very
Comedians
like juvenile
all around
funny.
The world are so relieved. Yeah, it can do like, it'll just, one thing that it loves to do is just add tastic to the end of a word. So it'll be
right?
It'll be like bloomtastic. And I'm like, is that a joke? Is that your version of a joke? Am I supposed to put that in an email? So anyway, I think that in some ways it's like really helpful for my role.
Yeah,
just
to
when
like
you're
help
like
with
really
like
stuck on
writer's
something.
block.
Yeah. But do I think it's coming for my job? No, I don't.
Have you had any like cool interactions with AI from brands? Or actually, this is even deeper. Have you ever looked at copy? Because I saw now there's so much ChatGPT out there. Like even on like social or like in creatives, like all these places, like sometimes I can spot the like AI.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't gotten good at that yet. Sometimes it's really obvious.
The amount of emojis that ChatGPT uses is unreal.
And I'm sure there are brands, because like my inbox is full of emails from brands. I probably delete 30 emails every morning from brands. And I'm sure some of those subject lines that are just more generic are AI. I'm sure. Because if you're a brand that doesn't really have a strong brand voice, then AI is a great tool for you. Because it can just give you straight up messaging in bulk.
Well, I think also like AI for like anybody who's writing things too, like in CX, right? In particular, like the support side of things, that writer's block that you're talking about, you know, sometimes like we have to write like these long, like I'm sorry emails. And sometimes you're just like dealing with like 5,000 things. And it's just like, let me pop that in ChatGPT and like unblock my writer's block and like change some things around, right? Yeah. But I think like when you're talking in the sense of like making creative or like marketing materials, right? You still have to monitor it. Like it'll help you with like that writer's block, but it's not going to like take your job.
Not at all. Because again, it doesn't get how humor works. And it doesn't really get the nuances of like the way a sale works. Like I'll try to ask it for like help with copy around a promotion that we're running, and it's like it doesn't really get what we're offering people.
Yeah.
So
You're like, that flower, that daffodil.
yeah, it needs a lot of babysitting.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I want to like rapid fire some random questions to you.
Oh boy.
It's about ads though.
Okay.
Did you watch the Super Bowl?
I did.
What was your favorite ad?
Oh shoot. Oh god, I was at a really loud party and I was not paying very good attention. What was my favorite ad from the Super Bowl? I can't remember a single one.
All right, skip.
That's bad.
That's okay. I like barely watched it, so whatever.
I was just there for the pizza.
Yeah, I was actually legitimately there for the Niners.
Wow.
Bay Area though.
Wow.
Who is she? I know.
A sports.
It's weird. Sports.
Hmm.
What ad do you wish that you wrote?
Oh, okay. This answers both of your questions. I just remembered there was an ad for apartments.com, I want to say, that ran. They were doing like a whole thing with like Lil Wayne was in the commercial for some reason. It was like Lil Wayne and then like Dan Levy.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know the context. All I know is that the end card of their ad says apartments.com. I think maybe it's a different brand, but the tagline was, "We've done your homework." And I was like, that copywriter deserves $1 billion because that is so good. It's so short. It's like a perfect pun.
Yeah.
It's so accurate for the brand.
Yeah.
And it's totally stuck in my head because I was just like, for
remember.
a copywriter, that's lightning in a bottle. That's beautiful.
One liner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be 50 different lines.
Yeah. And that's going to work for you for everything, for every channel. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I think we know the answer to this, but like I want to hear just like a different answer, like, or just in your words, right? What do you think a good ad does for a customer?
For me personally, you mean like what makes a good ad or what's the outcome of a good ad?
Outcome. Like what is it, like what does a good ad do for a customer? Mm-hmm. So it's not even just like purchasing it, like how do you get them over like the I need this line?
I mean, I can only answer that from a brand voice perspective, but for me, if I feel like a brand, this is such a gross capitalist society thing to say, but if I feel like a brand understands me as a person, I'm a customer for life.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like if I feel like a brand's voice is speaking my language, making jokes that I would make to my friends, then like that's my friend and I'm going to always buy their underwear. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Yeah.
Brands aren't your friends, just to be clear. But like
they want your money, but
like for me, you know, really effective advertising means that I feel like I'm being spoken to by a member of my community.
Yeah.
And not by some corporation.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I don't think it's just about like a brand, yes, like has revenue goals, like for sure. But I also think what makes a really good brand, like going away from the copy piece, but just the community piece of it too, right? Like there's a lot of really good brands out there that like give back, or they're like they have a really strong community of like how to use their product, or like even if it's a snack brand, like make it a culture movement, you know? So it's not, I know at the end of the day, it's like everybody needs to like make revenue, right? But I think that good copy, good brand voice really brings the boys to the yard. Yeah.
Brings the boys to the yard. And listen, if you want to bring the queers to the yard, this is just a plug because I'm homo. And if June comes around and a brand says to me, by the way, we didn't forget about you, we're marketing to gay people. Yeah. No, I'm not interested in that. I want a brand to say, we are you, we've been you all year.
Yeah. Yeah, you want it to
You can still buy it in June, but
like maybe in January too.
Sure, yeah.
And Christmas.
Don't try to sell me a rainbow product in June and act like you're my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
So that's just an unrelated nugget for everyone.
Well, on that note, it's time to end. Lucy, tell the peeps where they can find you.
You can find my copy coming from the Bouqs Co. You can find me on March 7th at the Broadwater Stage in Hollywood writing for Comedy Taylor's Version.
Nice.
And you can find my personal writing if you follow me on socials at @IdeasLucy. I'm kicking off a project right now of fragrance writing.
Oh, fun.
So look out for that.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate you coming on, and thank you everyone for joining me for another episode, and I'll see you next Thursday.
Dang, we've made it to the end of the podcast and you're still here. So thank you so much for listening to Above the Fold podcast. For the best of this episode and every episode, be sure to follow us on Instagram and my YouTube channel. And for deeper dives on the secrets to brand success, don't forget to subscribe to my weekly newsletter, Sunday Postcards. All right, my dudes and gals, see you next week.